What's up, YouTube people? 40K Sensei Ben here, back again with another video. In this video, I wanted to touch on hobby burnout. Now, don't be afraid, I'm not burnt out on tabletop or Warhammer or anything like that. I'm burnt out in the hobby space as a whole. For instance, anything that has to do with like a physical hobby, I've been kind of wishy-washy on. Thankfully, I've been painting a little bit, but aside from that, I've been playing a lot of video games, specifically Apex Legends, with my brother-in-law. If you know what the game is, cool. If you don't like it, cool. But with that said, I've noticed the problem lies in having too many hobbies. Now, specifically with tabletop, I don't have a whole lot of different hobbies in that space. I really have Warhammer. I have kind of Star Wars Legion, not really. My brother-in-law quit, and he's the only one who plays near me. And X-Wing, which, again, is only with my brother-in-law, and it's hard to play a lot because he's not close. But there's really just the three. Now, obviously, inside Warhammer, I have 40K, I have Age of Sigmar, I have Warcry, I want to start Kill Team. You know, I'm maybe looking into Necromunda, who knows? But there's just a lot going on there. But outside of that is also TCG, trading card games, okay? And having a lot to do with that as well as tabletop really burns me out. And I obviously have a stronger passion for the tabletop space. If I could only pick one, I'd pick tabletop over TCG. And that kind of leaves me in a pickle because I really like Pokemon. I got into it recently. I have no drive to ever go to any event ever. The guys that play at my local game store that I work at, they're really cool. But I just don't plan on going. And I have 2 decks. I tried to force my wife to play. She, agreed. But we haven't gotten around to that. But outside of that, it's like I'm never going to play with anybody. And I don't really feel like just collecting cardboard for Pokemon outside of like the handful of cards I just happen to like that specific Pokemon for. And so I now just have a plethora of Pokemon cards I don't know what I'm doing with. And I kind of regret spending money on. And my biggest TCG would be Magic the Gathering. And so for that, I have an enormous collection for it. And I only play with roughly 6 people. My family members and a couple of my friends. And that's it. The local game store I work and play at do have Commander Days on Tuesdays and Saturdays from open to close. And there's usually 20 to 40 people on both Tuesdays and Saturdays. So plenty of people to play with, but I certainly have no urge to go and play with them. Whether it's because I don't like specific people, or I just don't like how they play the game and what they choose the power level of to play the game, and it's not as fun or casual for my opinion. But if you take a gander here at my hobby space, I have my paints down here, up here, and even more over there. I have models here and there, and obviously I've shown you all the shelves back here, plenty of more models. And then right behind me on the floor is just all of my Magic cards. All these deck boxes filled with either decks or just loose cards. The tiny Ultra Pull deck boxes that are colorful back there are empty. Just a lot of cards right here. And that's not all the cards I own. I own a full 2K shoebox worth of cards, a 930 count full box of cards. Like, I own thousands of cards. And my love for it is just gone in thin air. Like, this stack of cards here is worth over $300. And, like, obviously, someone could be like, oh, I have a single card worth $300. I mean, cool for you, bud. But, for us casuals, that's a lot of money for just a pretty thin stack of cards. Relatively thin stack of cards. And it's nothing even special. Versus, a couple, like 2 months ago or so, I sold almost $1,000 worth of cards. And so it's just, there's no love for the game anymore, especially with proxies being so friendly with my friends and family members, that there's no reason to have or buy expensive cards. And so, with that said, I truly think, and feel free to comment down below your opinion on this, that having too many hobbies is just something you cannot do if you want to, A, be really good at a specific hobby, or B, actually get the fulfillment and enjoyment out of the hobby you want, and lastly, C, not feeling overwhelmed. Having too many hobbies is going to be overwhelming, so I've come to find out. And these are just all my nerd hobbies, not to exclude my actual other hobbies that I enjoy that I don't do anymore because I'm just overconsumed and overwhelmed. such as going to the gym more often, playing basketball more often, going to play disc golf, things like that, active hobbies that are more healthy, that are outside of the nerd space. And so, because of this, and it's a long, short-winded story for no reason, of saying that I think, for the most part, I'm quitting all TCGs. I'm going to sell out all the expensive cards, and then I'm going to maintain a couple decks for Magic to play with my family members and my friends that still play and like the game, because I want to participate. I do like the game, but I'm not going to spend any more money on it outside of buying proxies for like 75 cents a card. And so I can have like 3 decks that are cool I can interchange so I don't get bored, but just like having the decks, have a mat, have the rest, and just kind of filter out the rest. So if someone says, hey, you want to play, I'm like, cool, here's a deck I have. Yeah, let me pull one of my 3 decks off the shelf and not one of my 40 deck boxes. And only for Magic, because that's the only one people play near me. I'm going to quit Flesh and Blood too. I didn't even mention that one. I have I have a fair amount of Flesh and Blood cards, and they're never going to see the light of day. And so, as a whole, the point of this video is to let you know about how I'm feeling with the hobby space, and my opinion on having too many hobbies. And I really would appreciate if you watch this far, to let me know if you feel a similar way. If you think you have too many hobbies, how you're going about fixing that problem, if you're trying to fix it at all, and let me know what you think my ideas are as far as how to solve this issue. Again, if you watched this far, thank you. It means a lot. Catch you in the next video. Hopefully a more positive video at that.